Hello, I am Emilia and you probably know me from hypnotherapy, or maybe you know me from my music. But I keep getting this phrase in my head saying, "You're not lazy, you're haunted," and the entirety of that message has kind of finally come through for me, and I I know it needs to be shared, so turn my camera on, and here we go. So I keep getting this message like, you're not lazy, you're haunted, and you're haunted by the inconsistency in identity commitment. You're haunted by the overindulgence of intrusive timeline thoughts that generate anxiety and even depression. And you're not lazy, you're just haunted by the mental prison that tells you there's no choices here and you have to accept your external circumstances. This is all you're ever going to get. This message is really for the people who know deep down that they're self-led, but they feel stuck. And this is also for the people who feel like they're doomed to be the side character in their life stories. So what do I mean by commitment to identity? You may have these dreams, right? These larger than life dreams, and then some of these dreams are just a little bit better than your current circumstances. And you're not committed to being the person that thrives in these up-leveled circumstances. You're loyal to the person subconsciously comfortable to the familiarity of right now. So if the future version of yourself that has everything you wanted walked through the door right now and took a good look at what you're doing right now, like, what would they say? If you called them in to fix your situation, what's the first thing they would tell you to do? I love to think about the fact that physically we're a different version of ourselves every day, month, year. We lose our dead skin, our dead hair holds memory, your intestines realign themselves. There's no such thing as physically becoming frozen in time. So why allow your life to stay frozen in time? Why not consciously allow your life to evolve with your physical anatomy? Your past does not define you. Yesterday is your past. If you don't like your yesterday, if you had a bad yesterday, you don't have to relive it again today. And then you also get like intrusive timeline thoughts that generate anxiousness and depression. So like that would be driving over a bridge and imagining it collapses while you're on it and thinking, oh, I hate driving over bridges. Or sending like your kid to go do something and you see something in your head, like something bad happened to them because you weren't there to protect them. Or like Googling your symptoms on the internet, and the internet says, I looked into your future and I saw death. You know, how do you feel physically and emotionally in these moments? Like, can you feel the emotions tied to the realities of these things happening? For every scenario that we can imagine, there's another timeline and another version of ourselves that's living that. So we can collapse timelines and bring what we focus on into existence. This is how successful people manifest success. And this is why you see miserable people stay miserable. They are hyper-focused on the drama, the pain, not to say or discredit any of that things that happen to people, because sometimes terrible things do happen and you want to have compassion for those moments, but there is a place in those points, in those stories, that you can pivot and you can take the intrusive thoughts that are peeks into other existing timelines, and you can build the mental control to eliminate rather than indulge in timelines that you know you don't need or want to exist. When you overthink and focus on anxiety and the feelings in the intrusive thought, the feeling magnetizes the timeline possibility much closer to you. So this goes for positive timeline thoughts and negative timeline thoughts. So if you're like focused on getting a better job, focused on like finding the best partner in the world that, you know, truly loves and sees you for you and all your depth. Maybe you see yourself becoming a millionaire, or you don't know how that's going to even happen, but you see it. You can collapse the timelines between you and the life you want by allowing full alignment when you invite your future self into the picture to take the reins of your everyday life right now. So this is also tied into the whole being haunted by the prison of your mind. Let's say your mind's like cable TV, and your nervous system is your routine. So how many times does your routine revolve around like turning the news on and absorbing negativity? Or how often do you become attached to turning on the Weather Channel to get a sense of knowing and security, so you can kind of plan your outfits and expect what to step outside into in the world, you know? Or how often do you rely on being able to turn off your brain and decompress by watching your favorite show? And what happens when something throws off any of these routines? What happens when the Wi-Fi is not working or the power goes out? Most people feel dysregulated and kind of mad, or like threatened, or like, oh gosh, I can't relax now, nothing goes right for me, and then they'll just spiral into this whole, oh, there's not, or some people, you know, like they try so hard to just find a right now solution, the instant gratification. Or, I mean, maybe you can look at it like not as cable TV, but like what happens when you've been working a job and you're used to getting paid every week, and then suddenly something happens that you get paid a day late? Do you start panicking and like making calls and wondering where your check is? This is all panic and dysregulation of your nervous system. And the inflexibility or the flexibility of your mind can help you with the regulation of your nervous system. Your nervous system goes from parasympathetic to sympathetic, this is fight or flight and rest and digest. So you have your flexible thinking in the rest and digest, but if you live closer to your fight or flight and your triggers, and you're just like, oh gosh, like I can't think about anything but the program that I'm attached to, you have so much less space before you go into fight or flight, and you're just burned out, and that creates a lot of tiredness and mental prison. You're just like stuck in these loops, these thought loops, these feelings, and that results in like either like no action or just actions that you hate every day. Because you think too, you think like change feels like punishment when you're stuck like that, because there's this familiarity. You've got your programs are your comfort, but you just stay there forever while your body's changing, while you're like, your future self is drifting further away. Your future self isn't even drifting further away. She or he's evolving into a different version that you're not dreaming about. So it's like, how do you escape that prison? How do you get out? So you don't have to be haunted by these things. If you can imagine the future you and a life where you're really happy, you can be happy today regardless of whether the Wi-Fi is working or not, whether your paycheck's late or not, whether you're stuck in traffic or not. You can hold on to the feeling of the reality that you want to be in and integrate the feeling into you right now. you can fill yourself with like hope and gratitude for the simple fact that you can see a different reality. And if you can't see a different reality, look around you where you are and find things to be grateful for right there, because that'll open up your mind and your imagination to get out of the place that you're stuck in. Because seeing it makes it possible, and acting accordingly sets that possibility in motion. You don't have to relive your past every day. You don't have to repeat yesterday for any reason. You can separate from it as soon as you decide to take action to do so. It doesn't have to be monumental, and each small change makes a really big change over time. So let's say you could barely get up for work today. You rushed out the door, you didn't eat breakfast, and you got stuck in traffic and you complained the whole ride to work. And then you walked in the door heavy and irritated and complained to your coworkers about this or that and made some fuss about something else. And then you were tired from work, you came home, you watched your show, and you went to sleep. And then maybe tomorrow morning you wake up, you're new today, and you wake up on time. Or maybe you don't wake up on time, but you wake up and at least you say, oh, I'm so glad I woke up. At least I'm not gonna be like missing work today, because you just changed the entirety of your mental trajectory, how you talk to yourself, how you look at the day. Like, it's an attitude of opportunity versus, God, I have to do this crap again. This is gonna suck. You can't, you're bam, straight to jail. Straight to jail. So it's like, there's that. And then whenever you get in the habit of like, just even like simple changes, if that's all you can handle, keep it to yourself, work in silence. If you have friends that are miserable in their lives too, they're not gonna really see and understand or be able to hold space for your progress. If they are really great friends. And if they can't, it doesn't make them bad friends. It just, they don't have your vision, and you can't expect everyone to see your progress. So don't go looking for reassurance if you can't give yourself reassurance. And when you don't find it outside of yourself, ask yourself why you need to look for it externally. If there's some reason why you can't respect and love your own process. And do what you need to do to validate you, and don't be afraid to dream bigger. And yeah, so that was that. That was my download. And yeah, so I hope it found you well. I hope you heard something you needed to hear. And yeah. And if you have any questions, please reach out.